Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to do a complete Elliott Waves analysis on XRP in this area, and I'm going to tell you why I think right now it might be time to flip bullish, but at the same time, we should really manage our expectations a little bit. So, are you ready? Let's dive in and see what is going on. And I believe the last time that we talked about Ripple, we were right around these areas, and the idea was that this is a slow move on the downside. So odds are we are going to continue this uptrend and going down from here in XRP. If you want to argue that, guess what? We have hit our final low is actually not an option for us. And thank God that we got a bit of a bounce back. And I think we specifically said we need to pay full attention to the shape of the move up that we are going to get. If we get a strong bounce, that actually can be a really good sign. And the question is, why did I say that? That actually comes down to Elliott Waves. You see, if you want to argue, for instance, we're going to have our final low around this area. Maybe this is like a very important support. And in case of XRP, this is actually a very strong support region. Then, okay, find me off of the lowest low, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up in order for me to tell you, look, maybe the bottom is in. Now, this specific structure is called an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4 and in any kind of 5 wave. Wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. And as you can see, all these characteristics does lead you to say, you know what? This is a very strong move up without a lot of overlapping of the waves, which is exactly in the previous video what we wanted to see in the coming move up in Ripple. And in terms of the sub waves, I think you know it. We have to have 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5, and for wave 2 and 4, we can consider different counts. Let's say, okay, ABC into 4 and like a WXY structure into wave 2. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is going on and count some waves. And I actually believe that I got a bit of a good news for you. Why? Because in a lot of scenarios that I'm trying to consider, which I will show it to you in a minute, I think most of them do actually suggest that this is just a correction structure, and probably soon, generally not a whole lot lower from the current point, we can expect at least yet another move up in XRP. So let's just check the structures one by one. Scenario number 1 suggests that we are having from this point wave 1, correction for wave 2, decent move up into wave 3, correction for 4, and what's next? You know it, another move up into wave 5, and at that point, this orange 5 wave up is going to be into a larger degree wave 3, correction for 4, another move into wave 5. So as you can see, this count does actually suggest that in the short term in XRP, we can expect yet another phase on the upside. Scenario number 2 suggests that maybe we are having something like this. For instance, this can be a wave 1, correction for wave 2, another move up into wave 3, correction for 4, and right now we are having another move on the upside into wave 5, and immediately you are going to tell me, look, between our wave 4 and 2, or supposedly wave 4 and 2, we do have a bit of overlapping of the waves. You know what? If you want to consider this overlap, that's absolutely fine. Then in that case, we have to say that this is an expanding leading diagonal. Now, question, do I like this scenario? I'll be honest with you, not really, but let's just consider all the possibilities in the interest of being absolutely objective. Let's consider this thing. Well, I'm here to tell you, even according to this possibility, yep, from this point in XRP, we are probably having a wave 1, correction for wave 2, another move up into wave 3, and what's next? Maybe a correction for 4, another move on the upside into wave 5. So once more, as you can see, a lot of signs do suggest in XRP, we are going to get a bit of a move up in the short term. And in fact, I'm going to say the only possibility that suggests, look, we have completed a 5 wave on the upside is the one indicating this is the end of our wave 4, and this is actually a truncated move up into our wave 5, since in it we did not take the height of our wave 3. Now, truncated waves, do not get me wrong, are absolutely possible. However, they are actually quite rare. So if you are allowed to find some other counts, maybe you should consider them and give them much higher priority. So What is it that I'm trying to tell you? In my view, in XRP, we are most likely on our way up to complete a 5 wave, which is a great sign suggesting the bottom is set. However, please pay attention. After a 5 wave up, even if you want to go according to the most bullish case, what are we going to have? Well, I think you know the answer already. We are going to have a move on the downside, a rather, I would say, deep pullback to about these areas around, let's say, somewhere between 2.8 to around $2.9. Now, is that pullback going to be such a bad sign? Not really, as long as it's going to have certain characteristics, and you know it. Chief among them is being slow and choppy, and between our pullbacks up, we have to be able to find overlapping of the waves constantly. And even if we're not going to have this thing, but okay, let's just see a 3-wave movement followed by a bit of a bounce in order to take this important high. And why do we care about this? Because at that point, it is going to be confirmed that this is, for example, an ABC or maybe a WXY in form of a double zigzag, generally some sort of a correction. And since hopefully this is going to end up being a 5-wave up, then okay, you can say, number one, the low is in with a good bit of confidence. Number two, this is an insanely bullish setup, since on a higher degree, this is going to be a wave 1 correction for wave 2. And well, if this scenario is going to play out, what do you think is next? I think you know the answer. Huge move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So as you can see, again, in XRP, seems like that we are finally starting to show some serious optimistic signs. But I do not believe that we are out of the woods yet. Now, as my final point, let's go on 5-minute time frame. And by the way, in my own time, I rarely go on such lower time frames, but you know, this is for the sake of educational purposes, so I'm thinking it's fine. So here is what I'm thinking about the current structure from the highest high and not this part. I believe on having an ABC in form of a flat, which looks like this. This is our initial move down into a correction for wave B, which in it, either we are going to take the highest high by like the smallest margin, or maybe we're just going to get very close to it, and then we're going to have another move down in order to take this initial low down here. And in terms of the subwaves, you know it if you are a regular viewer of the channel. ABC into A, ABC into B, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into C. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is going on in this area. So I do believe that in XRP, you can say, excuse me, from this point to about here, actually, this is an ABC down, followed by that, this is an ABC on the upside. And what is going on from this high? In my view, we are probably having, let's just take this one, excuse me, wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, which is going to be into, in my view, a larger degree wave 3 correction for 4, another move down into wave 5. So in case in the next, I'm going to say probably 12 to 24 hours, you see some more downward price action in XRP, odds are we are actually following this count, suggesting number one, our move down is probably quite close to the end, and number two, this whole move is going to be just an ABC flat structure, meaning what's next? You know it, a very strong bounce in order to at least take the highest high in here for the first target, about $3.1. But I do believe we are able to go a bit higher than that, maybe somewhere around $3.2 region can be a better target. And then if we get a deeper pullback, do not worry, it might hopefully be just simply part of the bullish process. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in XRP's price chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member of my main channel and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.